Alright, so I'm starting another project. I'm actually waiting for the sculpted mold on the additional side piece graveyard on the volcano to dry. So while doing that, I got to thinking, I've had this castle scene, if you want to call it that, about a year now, and just driving on it over and over, I found a piece I don't like. So I have these four columns at the front of this so-called castle mountain scene, and I do not like this first column. Reason being is when you're coming off here and coming down this hill here, this column is too close for my wider vehicles, in particular the TRX4M Chevy K10. It's the full Enjoy build with those diamond axles, and they're like 10 plus millimeters and additional, so it's too wide. I've got some rocks here on the wall, and it kind of gets it too tight. I'm rubbing the wheels. I don't want to rub the sidewalls too much. The rest of it is pretty good because I can kind of bring it over into this area if I need to and come over this rock, etc. It's just this one column here. Plus, I like to be able to see it climbing up this here, and this column's just blocking that view. It's no problem to remove this, I don't think, and just repair it. Some, extra plaster cloth. Put an additional rock here if I want to have it come up over it, but this column itself is just blocking it. I've already made 2 incisions here on each side with a box cutter. I've started here and thought, here I go again, forgetting to record this. You may or may not be interested in seeing it. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. Again, I'm cut here. I'm going to cut this off on this side. We're going to remove, there's actually a dowel rod in here with a paper towel roll wrapped around it, and then plaster cloth and paint. So I'm going to remove this, and then we're just going to do some kind of repair work here to make it look like it's part of it, natural. Hopefully you'll never be able to tell that that column was there, and then I removed it. So let's get into this and see how it turns out. Alright, so removing that dowel rod was pretty painless. I had looked at some past pictures that I had of the actual building of this thing. So there was a dowel rod that was down in here, attached up here. All I did was just took a box cutter, split it right down the middle, peeled this off, this outer shell, which was a paper towel roll, and then the plaster cloth and the paint. Peeled that right off, exposing the dowel rod, and then I just twisted the dowel rod loose, which it had some up top was hot glue. Down in this block down here was hot glue. Then this is insulation foam sprayed around it to help hold it, and then plaster cloth around that. So it was pretty simple to remove that. I really didn't even need to cut these on each side, but I'm probably going to cut that flat there and then put me another rock there that I like. Up here, I'll put some kind of rock formation here to kind of tie these two together, plaster cloth, or I may just use a plaster rock mold that I have, so from the Scenic Rocks. Paint that up to blend in with this. We'll just experiment a little bit, but I'm excited about this now. Give you a better view, be able to climb down through here, maybe put another rock here that will make those shocks really work. Anyway, we'll see what we turn this into. So my friends, here's where I took that column out that I had there. I decided I didn't like. So up top, I just added some a piece of cardboard here to kind of help hold the sculpted mold on. I put some sculpted mold in, I put this rock in, and one up here at the top. Pushed them down into the sculpted mold, let that harden for a few days, then painted it and Mod Podged over it to help seal it. Down here, I went with one of the bigger rocks, Woodland Scenics plaster molds here. So now you come down, you hit the sculpted here down into this. This is all one rock here. It's got a little dip in it, and then you come down. And then this is a separate piece here. Again, using sculpted mold to kind of push into all this. I did go and put plaster cloth down first. Gave it a black wash. Then I put the sculpted mold over the top of that and pushed my painted rocks into that I had painted. And once I did all that, I let all that sculpted mold dry for a few days. Painted it with the browns and grays, and then Mod Podged over that. Now, Mod Podge, it is the matte version of it, so it's not real shiny. I didn't want shine. I want it to match the rest. It is slick, though. My 1/18 scale crawlers are big enough to kind of get up this without too much of a problem. My Jeep JLU SCX24 by Axial is smaller, being 24 scale obviously. It spins out here, so you really have to pick a good line. Maybe try to shift your weight here onto this rock ledge to help you get up. If it continues to be too big of a problem, I can just take some Mod Podge mixed with some sandy material and just put a little patch here just to give them enough grip right there. Again, I don't want it to be too simple. I'm enjoying the challenge of it, some of the challenging spots. After having this for approximately a year now, I am finding spots that I don't like so much. You learn as you drive on it, things you want to make more challenging, things that are just not working for you. There's one spot where you come out over here of this castle here, this drawbridge, and you come down. This is a problem for hitting differentials, because when you actually slide coming out here, it doesn't matter if I'm using my Endura sticky wheels on 24th scale. I have the Hyrax tires, and then on the 18th scale I have the Endura, different types, the stickies, and I'm still can't get enough grip to keep them on this rock without scraping differentials. So I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this rock here, leave it there as a challenge to kind of continuously have to manipulate your way around it. Some of the rocks there going down the slope are also problems for differentials, so I'm going to take another look at that. I may have to widen the turn down here at the bottom, just bring it in a little bit more, a little more platform to get up around that curve, because that is a super tight turn for the TRX4Ms. This is only 2 feet wide, so just to put it in perspective, it's not one of the 4x8s or whatever. It's a 4 foot wide sheet, but only 2 feet deep. So that kind of gives you a little more perspective on how tight those turns can be for a TRX4M, especially when you put like the 1.3 tires on there, wheels and tires. Makes it a little harder to turn those tight turns. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm always welcome to comments in the field. Any ideas, if you think there's something that would be added on here that would be neat you'd like to see, I'll take it into consideration, see what I can do. I do like a bit of a challenge at times, so look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope you enjoyed this part of the project. Here we go again. So I couldn't leave well enough alone. While I'm doing some demolition, I decided to go ahead and knock out a few more areas that I haven't liked. So I mentioned earlier that it's kind of a tight squeeze here, but the tires will go up on this rock. I just went ahead and made this open up here. I've got those 1.3 inch Enduras on there, and they come up kind of high on this rock, and they were still rubbing a little bit. So, I mean, I kind of like it, the tight squeeze, but not too tight. I don't want to damage my tires if I can help it. So I took this part out here, and then right down here I extended that wall as well, because this I shaved this, so we got to repair that, this, and this. But again, while you're doing demolition, and if you have the time to go ahead and do what you really want, when I began this, I actually had intended on the trucks to be able to come down through here and cut through this tunnel if they want. There's a hole already here, and they were going to drive out at an angle and come over to this tunnel down here. So just a moment, I'll move this camera and we'll take a look at what that would involve. So I went ahead and pulled that off the tripod just so I can show you what we're really looking at. So again, if you go through this tunnel and you come out on the other side, due to knowing how I built this thing, I think I can take back to here possibly, just remove this whole front section here. That way it can come at an angle from this cave back here and come through here, or coming this way, cut back through the cave there, come back over here. It's just fun, you know, to give yourself extra driving avenues, things like that, because you know, after a while, this course can get a little redundant after you go it around so many times. Now, I do have additional stuff, which you may have seen in some of my other shorts or something, that brings it down to the floor, which I put out sometimes as well. But, you know, if you've got the materials, you're not having to pay any extra, and you want to change up your course, I say go for it. I mean, make it yours, make yourself happy, and it also gives me something else to do. This is my hobby, RC trucks. So anyways, we're going to get into all this, and I will be deciding if I want to tackle that or not, because that's going to involve me pulling this off, pulling these 2 tables off, just to be able to get that out and to work on it. I've got bridges that I'll have to support, etc., with dowel rods or whatever. Anyway, we're going to take a look at this and just see how much of a challenge it's going to be. Stick with us. We're going to take a look at what I did here. I went ahead and just added the plaster cloth. I'm going to remove these little strings that you see there. Anyway, I just went ahead and capped these changes off with some plaster cloth, and then we'll paint it up next. So real quick, what I did here to make this look like it was blending in even more naturally was I did some dry brushing with some white paint. I did it here on this rock area here, as well as here. You see a little bit of white accenting here. And then all this back here that I did. Dry brushing, if you're not familiar with what it is, I'm sure a lot of you are, but basically I took white paint, put a little bit on a paintbrush, then wiped most of it off, and then just lightly graze across the top of the raised surfaces so that the raised surfaces catch that white paint, whereas the rest of it wouldn't. That made it blend in better with the rest of the surfaces that I already had there, making it look like it was more cohesive there, and like it was never changed up as much. Also, what I'm doing here is those teeth that were here were actually just some glow-in-the-dark pumpkin teeth that I had here. I pulled them all out. Here's one I just brought back over here so you could see what I'm doing. Now, these were just hollow pumpkin teeth that you could put in jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween. You may have seen it in the video earlier. The actual backs of these were hollow, and it was made of this material here that you see on the screws, glow-in-the-dark. That, over time, was just looking stupid to me, so I thought, well, I fill it in with plaster, and then I'm painting it black for a base, but then I'm going to try to make it either look like rock or polished stone teeth here. I don't know if I want to look like a shiny Mod Podge on it or something, like it's polished rock or something. Anyway, I'm going to complete all those out and put them back in here once I get that done. Now, you may be saying, what's this white pile here? When I was filling in the back of these, I had some leftover plaster, so I put it here because my differentials were rubbing this rock when they came down through here. I was trying to go one way or another and always hitting my differentials on that rock because they would slide off that rock a little bit. So I took my leftover plaster. I had to hurry and I just kind of slammed it here and down here because my differentials were hitting on that rock as well. So I just took my leftover plaster before it dried, which it was drying fast, so I had to hurry. I put half of it there and half of it up here, and I can sand that or paint it, whatever I want to do here in a little bit. It's still kind of wet in the middle, so I'm trying to let that dry. And I'll keep you updated on what we're going to do here. If I do still decide to do this big project I was talking about of taking part of this cave wall out here so I could bring the crawlers from that cave back there and through here, that may be a separate video. But anyway, we'll probably finish this out, these teeth and this extra plaster piles I did here before I end this video. So stay tuned. Here's those teeth for the castle. So I did a black painting, as you saw earlier, over the whole tooth. Then I loosely did a dark gray. You can see some of the brush streaks through that. I wanted that look. After that dried on both sides, I just took white and did like a type of a dry brushing on there, just really not caring how it went on there. I want it to look kind of like a stone. Now, what's really going to make a difference is when I put this Mod Podge on there, and this is the super gloss version. I want these to look like a polished stone, so we're going to see how these turn out after I do both sides of these. So hopefully these teeth will come out looking good like a polished stone, like it was intentionally done there, going up that drawbridge. Stay tuned, we'll see how this looks. Alright, so here we are with those teeth all painted up. They have 2 layers of this shiny Mod Podge on them to look like polished stone. I'm very pleased with how they turned out. Much better than just that glow-in-the-dark cheap plastic look. Filled in there on the back, you can see there. So, and then here is that plaster I painted up to kind of blend in, kind of like a dirt muddy mound going up on that rock there. That way my differentials will not rub on that rock anymore. Same down here, I've got that plaster painted up. Kind of looks like some tire marks going up on that rock. Feeling really good about this, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you saw here. Again, as always, thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing here. I'm going to start doing some more crawling videos for you guys. I'm going to start showing some more of my 1/10 scale monster trucks. Hopefully I'm going to do a short here soon showing my Cruel Intentions and my Sinister Omen, kind of like a mock-up of if they were going to have a monster truck competition. Hope to see you guys here in the future watching the channel. Look forward to any comments you may have to share with me. See you later.